everyone, in this lesson I'm going to show you what happens in an actual IELTS speaking test and the types of questions you may be asked. Please watch and listen carefully to the answers given, as these are the types of answers you would need to give to achieve a band score of 9. Yes, come in.
Hello.
Hi, please have a seat.
Thank you.
Welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Michelle. I will be asking you some questions. For marking purposes, I'm going to record the interview. Is that okay?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, let's begin. So, can we start with your full name, please?
Yes, my name is John Doyle.
Nice to meet you, John.
You too?
May I see your passport, please?
Yes, here you are.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so I will ask you some questions. This will take about 12 to 15 minutes and I'll give you instructions along the way. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, I am.
Okay, can you tell me about your hometown?
Yes, I am from a little town called Tralee in Kerry, which is on the southwest coast of Ireland. It has a population of approximately 20,000 people. It has some of Ireland's most iconic scenery, so it's a great place to live.
Wow, it sounds amazing. Can you tell me about places of special interest in Kerry?
Well, the most famous of all would have to be the Ring of Kerry. It is Ireland's most scenic route. It has a 179 kilometre long tourist route and shows the best of Kerry. There are many popular places along the route, including the Killarney National Park, which was the first national park established in Ireland. The park is full of red deer and is the largest forest in Ireland. It is extremely beautiful.
What kind of jobs do people do in Kerry?
Well, we have a lot of farmers, as it is a rural part of Ireland, but we also have doctors, journalists, teachers and bankers. Education is really important in Ireland, and most people go to university when they finish high school to ensure they secure good jobs that are well paid.
What would be the best time to visit Kerry?
The best time to visit Kerry would be between June and August, as these are our summer months. However, it does not get very warm in Ireland, so you can come any time of the year.
Okay, can you compare your hometown with another city?
Yes. Well, I live in Melbourne now, which is very different from my hometown of Kerry. Firstly, the population is quite different. There are over 4 million people residing in Melbourne compared to 20,000 in Kerry. You rarely see the same person twice, which is quite odd, so it's hard to make friends. Life is much faster over here compared to back home. Everyone is in a hurry. However, there is always something to do in Melbourne every weekend, which I love, and the weather is always beautiful. The sun is always shining, and this is something we could do with more of back home. There are pros and cons to every city, but home will always be home.
Okay, John. I'd like to ask you a few questions about what you do now. Can you tell me, do you work or are you a student?
Yes, I work. I am an accountant and I have been for the past 5 years. It is a very fulfilling career which pays very well, and it gives me a great deal of job satisfaction. I always wanted to be an accountant. I first joined my father's practice when I graduated from university, but I have worked for other large corporations as well, so I had the opportunity to spend 6 months overseas in Boston.
Wow, how did you find this experience?
It was fantastic. I met so many like-minded people and learned so much. It was a great experience and one I will never forget. I also had plenty of time to explore the city of Boston, and I learned a lot about those who emigrated from Ireland to Boston during the famine, which I found immensely interesting. Working for a multinational company in Boston was an honour, and I do feel very privileged to have had the opportunity at such a young age.
Why did you always want to be an accountant?
Well, I love working with numbers and I have a strong analytical skills. So I am also quite outgoing, which is an important strength to have when you're working with other companies. I guess also it has to do with my father being an accountant. Like doctors and lawyers, you are given a high level of respect and trust, so you feel like you are doing a job that is worthwhile.
Thank you. Now I'd like you to speak for 1 to 2 minutes on a topic. You have 1 minute to prepare your answer. Here is a pencil and paper to make some notes. Here is your topic. I would like you to describe a journey you went on. Your 1 minute to prepare starts now. Please begin. Thank you. Could you start speaking now? I will stop you after 2 minutes.
Okay, well, I like visiting famous places, and whenever I am on holidays, I try to visit new places or places that I've heard about. One such trip that I took with my wife was a trip to Sydney. I would like to talk about this journey to Sydney that we went on earlier this month. My wife and I both wanted to visit Sydney to see places such as the Sydney Opera House and Darling Harbour, as well as visit places like museums, galleries, and the famous Bondi Beach. We purchased our plane tickets, booked into a hotel, packed our bags, and our trip began. We spent a great deal of time before our holiday researching all the interesting places to visit and all the sights to see in Sydney. We went to see the Sydney Opera House and Darling Harbour, but we also went to Sydney Zoo and the Wildlife Park, as well as many beautiful restaurants and cafes. We enjoyed visiting the museums and galleries and taking long walks along the beach in the mornings as the sun rose. We also saw a show in the Opera House which was truly memorable. We very much enjoyed everything we did on our trip to Sydney. Since we had never been to Sydney, everything we saw and did seemed interesting as it was completely new to us. We hope to visit Sydney again soon as we had a great time.
Thank you, John. Okay, I'm now going to ask you a few questions. What is the most memorable place that you've visited in Sydney?
Well, the most memorable place that I visited on my trip to Sydney would have to be the Opera House. It is Australia's most famous building, and you can see why when you see it for the first time. It is unforgettable. It took 16 years to build, which I found fascinating. 16 years is such a long time.
Yes, it is. Can you tell me, what show did you see at the Opera House?
My wife and I saw King Kong. It was amazing. King Kong looked so real. It was interesting looking at the faces of people sitting around us. When King Kong came on stage, there was so much fear in their eyes. It was a fantastic show. Apparently the show took 5 years of planning and over 5 months of rehearsals. I also heard that auditions took place over 3 years.
Yes, I heard it was a great production. Can you tell me about the storyline?
Yes, it's about a gorilla called Kong who lives on an island in the Pacific Ocean with other oversized animals such as dinosaurs. An American film crew capture Kong and take him to New York City to be exhibited as the eighth wonder of the world. Kong escapes and climbs up the Empire State Building with an actress that was offered up to him as a sacrifice. The only reason he climbs the Empire State Building is to try and protect his beloved Anne, the actress. But he falls from the skyscraper. It is quite sad at the end. The actress really loved King Kong, as did he love her.
Thank you, John. That's the end of the speaking test.